Hey everyone, let's get to paper weaving. Okay, so here's everything you will need. You will need either crayons or markers, or a combination of the two. A pencil, a glue stick, or a bottle of glue will work too. A ruler, scissors, your size of course, and then 3 of each color paper strips. So you get to choose 3 different colors and you will get 3 of each of those. And then 1 background base color. We're going to call this piece our base, and this will actually be what we will call our loom. So if you saw in the videos, they had those large looms. This is our loom. It will be made out of paper, just like our strips. So let's get started. Okay, first we are going to make sure that our paper is going vertical or up and down the long way. Now we need to fold it in half. So we want to do our best to make this fold nice and even. So line up those corners. What I do is I hold the paper down with this hand and then I carefully guide the corners to match up with my other hand, and then I see if they match on both sides, and then I kind of just press down. So I'm still holding on this side. Now we need our ruler and our pencil. We want to make sure that the folded edge is facing down towards us. This is where we will need to make our guidelines coming from. And we're going to have to leave this space, the open space, connected. So we're going to make sure that our lines stop right here. So the first thing we'll do is we'll actually take our ruler and we'll line it up with that top open edge. And then using our pencil, I'm going to hold down my ruler with one hand. I'm doing it like this. You probably will do it a little bit different. And then I'm going to draw a line across the top edge. This is where I'm going to stop my guidelines. Now I'm going to start measuring, and I'm going to make a mark every 1 inch on my folded edge. So I'll line up my ruler like this, starting here, and I'll mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times until we get to the 9. So there's 9 total columns. Then I'll line my ruler up at the top here, and see I'm holding down my ruler with one hand, and I'll draw with the other, making sure it's parallel, lined up, and I'll mark at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to connect the marks I just made and draw straight vertical lines. So you can start on either edge and draw straight lines. These will be our guidelines to where we will cut. Nine columns. And your line should be straight because we're going from point to point. Now these lines are where we will cut to make our columns to weave in and out from. So using your scissors, you are going to carefully cut along each of these lines, and you are going to make sure that you stop at this line right here. That's super important, because if you cut through, then your loom will actually just break into strips. So this would be a good way to cut strips if you ever needed to make strips at home. You would just cut all the way through, but we'll stop right here. Now we want to be looking at this side of our paper because we don't even need guidelines on this side, and here's why. So then, holding the paper with one hand carefully, I know I'm pretty close to my blades, but I know that I'm out of the way. I'm going to cut along each of the lines. Then stop So watch out for your fingers underneath, but it is very helpful to hold the paper pretty tight. Otherwise, your lines will kind of get off and it will get kind of tricky, so. So now we can open this up and we have our loom, a paper loom. Now I set my loom aside and I am going to decorate 1 or 2 sets of my strips of paper. So we are not going to decorate these with shapes unless they're really small and you make a line with shapes, because we don't know if those shapes will get hidden behind the vertical columns that we have in our loom. So anything with shapes we can add after. But it might be fun to add an extra kind of layer to your work and draw some lines on 1 or 2 sets of your strips. So using either crayons or markers. So use any of the lines that you've learned about, maybe like a zigzag, a wavy line, a curved line, a dotted line, anything you can think of to kind of decorate your strips and add another layer. So I think I'm just going to do, I'm not going to do blue. So I think I'm going to do some dashed lines, kind of like to add some texture. So I'm using brown because I think it will look good with my brown and my red strips. So think about colors. After what you've learned about colors like the primary and the secondary, you don't have to use those groups. But sometimes it's good to kind of know the rules so you can break them. So I was thinking about kind of like warm colors here, but purple isn't a warm color, but I thought it would look good with the other warm colors. So you can use colors inspired by your culture or your favorite colors. So you should have 3 sets of 3 colors of strips. And I decorated 2 strips, or 2 sets. You can decorate none, or you can decorate 1, or you can decorate all. That's up to you. But I'm going to just decorate 2.